So we're always coming up with new ideas and new videos on Talks with Dorks, and this week we've got a brand new one that I've come up with, and I've challenged the boys to come up with their dream comic book idea. So I'm going to give them some prompts throughout the video, and they're going to answer, and then we're going to come up with a great comic book, hopefully, from either of the boys. Ryan's been bigging his comic book up all day, so I'm really excited to hear this.
Hang on, if mine's that good and you used to enjoy it that much at the end, right? You forget that because I'm not. We're not releasing it. Okay, I'm sending it to publishers and getting it out there to DC.
Yeah,
maybe.
So I'm looking forward to this because I want to hear what Ryan said.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. Yeah.
So let's kick straight off. We're going to go straight in with the origin story. What inspired your dream comic book concept? Was it a childhood fascination, or current interest, or something entirely different?
Oh,
let's go
Tony.
with yes. Let's go with Tony.
Okay, all right. Sorry, I took the lead then.
That's all right.
So yeah, mine was pulled from a real life situation. Not mine. It was a friend of mine who lived on a council estate, high rise council estate, and there was a guy who lived in a old Blue Arrow van. So Woody, you might not remember Blue Arrow, but they were a courier service, and that's where he lived. He lived in a Blue Arrow van.
Okay.
And he got a nickname, and he got this nickname by kids on the estate running up, banging on the side of his van, and then he would swing the doors open and be like, "Fuck off, you shit cunts." So my superhero of my comic book is Shit Cunt Roy, named after the shit cunt Roy who lived in a Blue Arrow van.
Okay, good start.
I'm not going to lie. My answer to your question is very, very simple. It's one sentence. I was inspired by the death of one of my heroes, Jason David Frank, the original Greek Power Ranger.
Okay, here comes the sadness. Right, okay.
Pull on the heartstrings.
So the next question was, are there any personal experiences or real life events that influenced the creation of your ideal comic book? And Tony's already answered that, so let's go straight to Ryan on that one.
It actually come from, and I'm still pulling on them heartstrings, just knowing that the world is suffering. And there's a lot of suicides out there, especially with a lot of men. And that's where the inspiration come from and the idea of it came from. Okay,
interesting. But two very different routes already, but I'm liking it. I'm liking it. Who are the main characters in your comic book? Describe their backgrounds, personalities, and motivations. Tony, take the lead on this one. You've already said it's Roy.
Yeah, so the hero is Shit Cunt Roy. He is the hero of my comic book. The group of civilians that Shit Cunt Roy will look after and be a vigilante for are the kids on the estate. The kids on the estate have their nemesis, their enemies, which are Jerry the Creep, who's a local creep on the estate. Not quite, a wrong one or anything like that. Just a bit of a creepy dude. Every estate had one. Another villain is Lido the pedo, and that it comes from. So Lido the pedo is something I personally experienced, right? So he's thrown in. Right, so let me paint this background for you. So I grew up on an estate as well, and there was a couple of us kids who similar ages. We was like, coming of age together. So it was like, oh yeah, we're gonna be cool. We're gonna start smoking. And there was an older kid who lived just off the estate called Lee, and he was like, yeah, you can smoke with me, but we need to go to the woods to smoke, like because you obviously don't want your parents to see you. Yeah, that makes sense. So we'd go down to the woods with Lee, and he would. At the time, there was nothing wrong with this. So naive. So we'd go down to the woods with Lee. Lee, as I say, was a bit older. I think he could legally buy fags. We were, young teenagers or just old kids. And he'd take us down to the woods, and then he'd be like, "Yeah, you can have some fags, but I need to see your cocks."
Jesus Christ!
Oh my God! I'm sorry you went through this.
I was, essentially now I've grown up and realised I was groomed so I could smoke B&H Gold in the woods with Lido the pedo.
Wow.
Anyway, so other villains include Janice, who's the mother bitch of the estate. We got caretaker Cole, who, again, from my experience, he was a guy who run the park next to my estate, but he wouldn't let kids in the park. He had a thing about it getting messy and vandalized, so he wouldn't let anyone in there. And then, of course, the rival gang group, which is the bigger boys from the other estate.
Okay.
The bigger boys.
The bigger boys, man. You didn't want to fuck around with the bigger boys.
That's the Kevin and Perry quote from the
It
TV.
is, yeah.
Oh, mate, classic. Bigger boys. Bigger boys.
All right, go ahead, Ryan.
Mate, I'm so sorry about your story. I'm so sorry about your story, but I'm like looking at mine. I'm like, I've been really buzzing about this, but he's just fucking ruined it. Fucking hell. It's quite hard to talk about my characters because my characters have already been established. Obviously, I didn't create these characters. They are established because there's two main characters of this story. There are other characters involved, but the main characters are Tommy Oliver, the Green Power Ranger, and Jason David Frank, the man who played Tommy Oliver, the Green Ranger. I can't really go into it because their character traits are very much what you see on TV. I could be here for ages explaining them.
Okay.
What ADF is a real human being that played a superhero and was good for his fans, great for his fans. And Tommy Oliver was the Green Power Ranger. What more the fuck do I need to say about that?
Okie dokie. So we'll move on to the next one then. What makes these characters unique or compelling? Do they have any special abilities or powers? And we'll start with Ryan on this one.
Again, it's quite simple. Obviously, there's going to be, because I've mentioned Tommy Oliver, there's two characters, Tommy Oliver and JDF, but there's two versions of Tommy Oliver that we mentioned here. The powers of the Green Ranger. So this is that part of it is he's going to have the powers of the Green Ranger. So the Dragon Zord, he'll have the Dragon Dagger, he'll have his Mighty Morphin Power Ranger powers. Then there's the Tommy Oliver, the bad guy, Lord Draken. There is the bad side of it. And then there's JDF. His powers are the power of being a human and a martial arts expert.
Okay, interesting. Tony?
So, concentrating on Shit Cunt Roy, he's got powers. His powers are he's able to summon pigeons with the manky feet to come and like peck at the villains. Has to be the manky feet pigeons. You can't have the normal ones. He can create like sort of like a whirlwind avalanche with his dandruff and general body crust. He's got a nonce nugget gun, so that fires Werther's originals. So yeah, it fires his nonce nuggets. And then he's got the ultimate special move, and you can only use it like once per like season, and that's the bum bump, because he's got them old grotty, rolly fingers, you know, yellow at the end and stuff. You know, he lives in his van. He's a bit grotty, so yeah, he'll give you a bum bump. What's a bum bump? Like Kevin Hart would have a set about this. It is when he just runs up to you, touches you on your lip, instant herpy. Bum bump.
Oh, for fuck's sake, I want your comic more than mine.
I am so intrigued because I had an idea of putting these prompts into AI and coming up with a comic book like title thing for it, and I'm so intrigued to see what it's going to say about yours, Tony, or see what comes, if anything, what comes out about it. Okay, moving on. So, where do your comic books take place? Is it set in a futuristic city, a fictional realm, or a dystopian world, or anything like that? Tony, go on, go ahead.
So, you could probably say mine is a dystopian world because it was from the Grange Estate in North Finchley in the 90s. So, yeah, pretty dystopian, pretty rough. There was a guy who lived on the Grange who had a fucking tank.
Wow.
Like, for real, he had a tank parked outside his flats.
Okay.
It was a friendly place if you were from there. You know, communities grow together on the council estate. You're just not allowed any outsiders, unless you're Shit Cunt Roy, and you know he's there to stop the outsiders coming in.
Okay. Right.
Mine is set on a remote planet. I'm kind of like feeling like I'm not saying enough, but because I don't know if Tony's got a story to tell of at the end of this. How this comic goes, I've got like a little script thing I've wrote out of where the story is, but my comic is set on a remote planet. You don't know where. No one knows where.
Okay. So we'll move on to the plot. What is the central conflict or storyline of your comic book? Go on, Ryan. You can kick this one off.
It's very simple again, because I want to save it till I tell you the actual story. The central conflict of my story is the demons within.
Okay.
The
Interesting.
demons within.
Tony?
Yeah.
So mine's not got like a big moral high ground or a big reason. I picture it. I kind of picture it playing out a bit like an episode of Lazy Town. So you've got Robbie Rotten and Sporticus and the kids. No, I think it's a bit like that. So you got Shit Cunt Roy looking after the kids of the estate. There's not many other adults featured in the comic, unless you've got like some of the enemies like the caretaker Cole or Janice the mother or something like that. And then yeah, Roy just protects the kids,
Okay.
and that's really it. It's not too deep.
Are there any twists? Are there any twists, surprises, or overarching themes that would drive your plot forward? Go on, Tony.
Yeah, so Shit Cunt Roy, even though he's a superhero, and once the kids summon him, and he comes bursting out of his blue arrow van to come and save the day, he does that as Shit Cunt Roy. But as just Roy, he doesn't. He pretends not to like the kids, but you can tell he's still looking out for them, and you give him weird advice, like the kind of advice that you might get from a guy who screams at the cheese in Sainsbury's. He'll say stuff like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't wank it off. Like, you get what he means, but it's like, why would he say that? Or dogs are for life, but life is shit stained balls. Like, you get it, but why would you say that? And yeah, the overall is, he's just looking out for the kids on the estate. He wants them to do better. He wants them to get off the estate and go off to the big world and get a big office job and all the rest of it, I guess.
I like it. Moving on to the art style.
Don't worry about mine then.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go on.
Well, lucky it's only 2 words. Oh yes, there
Right.
is some twists.
Okay, we'll find out about that at the end then. The art style. What is the visual style? What would you envision for your comic? Would it be realistic, stylized, or perhaps a blend of different art styles? Go on, Ryan.
Realistic all the way. When you'll understand more when I tell you the actual story, but realistic all the way.
Okay, Tony.
Mine would be very cartoony, like 80s, obviously my thing for 90s styles cartoons. But the way it will be released as well, it will be in like an anthology. So you'd get a issue every fortnight, and then with the issue, much like those old magazines back in the day where you build your dinosaur or build your body from How My Body Works, you get little pieces of Shit Cunt Roy every fortnight that you get to build your own Shit Cunt Roy at home. And then it's all stored, like, so you can put it in its storage box, which is the Blue Arrow van.
Okay, I like it. So that kind of answers the last question I've got for the future plans. It was, do you envision your dream comic book being a standalone series, a graphic novel, or part of a larger comic book universe? Come on,
Are there any
Ryan.
plans for sequels, spin-offs, or adaptations
Yeah.
in other media forms? I would say this needs to be a standalone graphic novel, but could also, I mean, again, this will be your opinions, and when I tell you the story, if casted perfectly, could make a great movie or miniseries. I'm not saying that it's that fucking good. I mean, I'm now speaking. My comic is no good compared to Shit Cunt Roy over there. I've just drawn on a Power Rangers story. He's literally come up with his own story, and he undersold this. And do you know what the annoying thing is, right? And this is the 3rd time I'm going to make this connection. You and Ash are so fucking similar. We did this when we cast our Justice League. I spent ages coming up with mine. He did it in like half an hour, and his list was fucking gold. He's just done the same thing. I'm not feeling my comic anymore.
So do you have anything to add on to the future plans, Tony, or is it kind of what you already covered?
I'll give Ryan a membership because he's got a sour ass about this. He can get his anthology for free.
I like it. So that's it for the prompts I had. Now I guess we hear the story from Ryan.
Have you actually, Tony? Have you got a story? Has yours got a story? Have you told pretty much the story from what you've said?
Yeah, no, mine's as basic as an episode of Lazy Town, mate. Kids are playing around, bad guys come, Shit Cunt Roy comes out the van, sorts it out, off they go. Moral of the story at the end of the episode or the end of the comic. Next issue.
I can't wait for AI to create Shit Cunt Roy. See what comes up. I like it. Go on, Ryan.
Okay, so I've done this completely because, like I said, when I really hope you do like this, because feeling it, but it's all good. My story, and I haven't never given you the title, is called Jason David Frank: The Journey of Tommy Oliver.
Okay.
So, on a rogue planet, and I'm going to tell you this end the story as it goes. On a rogue planet, Tommy Oliver, the Green Ranger, awakes with strange memories, not only his own, but those of Lord Draken, his alternate universe evil self, and someone he'd never met, someone called Jason David Frank. So Tommy Oliver has awoken with the memories of all three of these people. Jason David Frank, all he knows from the memories is that he's a man that lost his way, had family, kids, a wife, and a dream job where he makes people happy for a living. But that's all that Tommy knows. He gets a message from a person who sounds like Zordon that to get where he needs to, he must find the white light. Now, if you're a Power Rangers fan, you know what the white light is. In a race to find the white light, Tommy must face his worst enemies, one by one in 3 different forms. First, he must fight Lord Zed and Rita along with Goldar as Tommy Oliver. It takes his toll, but he wins. Lord Zed leaves with a message. He tells him JDF is the one that will end up happy. Jason David Frank is the one that will end up happy. Tommy is now Draken. Tommy's gone, but Draken's left. With all the memories and confused, he moves on with just that message from Lord Zed. As Lord Draken, he must fight his old team, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, unwillingly, but knowing it's the only way he can fight them. And it has to be a fight to the death. In a close call, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers team destroy Draken with the Mega Dragon Zord. Believing he isn't going to make it, Jason tells him one message. Good always wins, but JDF will be happy. And Draken fades away, leaving only the last form. The second mention of JDF being happy as Jason David Frank, he moves on. And here he is, Jason David Frank, and his battle is to rescue his family from a demon called Within. With no ranger powers, just his martial arts skills, somehow he overcomes the demon after another close call. Tommy is back and finds JDF's family. They all give him a hug and thank him for releasing JDF. He asks how. Now, this is where the plot comes in. They don't tell him, but they tell him all he needs to know is he destroyed his demons within, hence the name of the demon, the Within, and they are going to be okay. He smiles. With a kiss from each of his family members, he is given all of JDF's memories. He realizes he was never Tommy in the first place. He was Jason David Frank on a journey to the white light of heaven to meet Zordon, aka God. And knowing his family will be okay, JDF is happy and goes to the.
Wow, very deep. But I like it. Yeah.
What? Okay, I just want to thank my mum, my dad up there in heaven. Again, like I said, like I was really straight like, what can I think of? And this story just hit me, and all I knew was it was going to be a story of Tommy, but also a story of JDF, and it just kept flowing. And I don't know. Again, I've been so excited about it because I was like, do you know
I
what?
like it.
I really like the fucking story. Tony, you're a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger fan. You're a Jason David Frank fan. What do you think?
It was, yeah, man. This podcast took a turn for the deep, but in a really nice way. That was, I can picture that being a really nice memorial. I can get the sort of like not, but the subtle hints and the not so subtle hints, like the demon within, and unfortunately in real life that demon must have won. So I like the fact that in a different universe somewhere, and in the one that you've created, he beat it. And yeah, man, that was, yeah, it's a really, really cool story, and I'd love to. I genuinely would love to see that on page. Well done, mate.
I like it.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, when you started saying yours is obviously a funny one, I was like, oh, this is going to be a complete. This is why I wanted to save that whole story to the end.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like,
No, but it's nice to have the one side of it, the funny side, and you go down the serious side. It was nice to see two completely different routes for it to go, and it's kind of what I wanted.
Let's not take away from the fact that my story did include the fact that I've realised I got non-stop in the woods for a pack of
yeah. Let's not forget that one. Yeah.
yeah. I went with like a deep message, and Tony like went deep.
Yeah.
Not as deep as Lido the pedo.
Yeah. Lido the pedo.
So yeah,
Yeah. So,
go
do
on.
you think should we scrap this whole thing and both just put things to the comic book people? Because I feel like, you know, if we maybe tag, I mean, maybe not tag JDF's daughters in what you're the first bit, but like tag them in my bit.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But honest to God, like I was when this story that I fucking got really choked up writing it. That's why I know, you know, like that's why I've been so excited about it. I was like, man, I fucking really like what I've done with this. Again, I love what you've done with yours because it's fucking hilarious. And it was something I would definitely read. But this was like, because I was thinking about him and the suicide thing, and it just went down that route. Did obviously, Tony, I see you reacting. Did you know where the plot was going? Did you realize where the white light was going to be?
I clicked
No.
it. Clicked on. I didn't
No,
know what
so-
it was. Go on.
Yeah, so I think because you've not watched it, Wood, I think you are open to that interpretation.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, the white light does mean, you know, in a Power Rangers lore, it only means one thing to me. So the fact that you were able to work in that analogy, metaphor, different meaning, yeah, I didn't see it coming, and I think that is purely because I am such a Rangers fan.
Do you know what I mean? That was something when I added that in, I was like, because like that was what I wanted to make sure that I wanted people try and maybe figuring out that it's not Tommy, it's JDF overall. Like to get the closer you get into the plot twist, but it was like keeping that white light, just giving them little nods to Power Rangers to make people know that this is a Power Rangers story. But why does he know about JDF? And yeah, mate, I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually really excited for Ryan the Third to hear this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what? I can't wait to listen to this one back either, because I want to. I definitely, in between you telling it, like I was kind of like not running away with the story or anything, but I was just kind of like, you'd say certain things and I'd just be like, oh, fucking JDF, oh, Tommy, oh, Rangers, and like I had to kind of like bring myself back in. So there's probably a little line or paragraph or something that I've missed out on. So I'm definitely excited to hear it back and just be able to like just kind of audio book it and just listen to your story, man.
Why wait? Let's do it again. Come on. Woody, what a great fucking idea, man. You can wrap this up. I'm fucking props to Woody for fucking coming up with this.
So that was the dream comic book of Ryan and Tony. We're going to do a lot more of these. Hopefully, come up with some more ideas. We've got one already we're working on. And if you've got any ideas, let us know in the comments down below of some other dream things we can come up with, and I'll give the guys some prompts, and maybe I'll get involved next time. But any last words, guys?
I was going to say as well, make sure you let us know what you guys think of our comic books. I mean, we've discussed it amongst us. Make sure you let us know what you think of our comic books. You know,
Yeah, definitely.
I think there's potential for both of them, and maybe we should take this episode down if we get loads of good feedback and don't publish this shit.
Yeah. Any last words, Tony?
In a world full of Lido the pedos, be a shit cunt, Roy.
I like it. Adios.
So,
That was fucking brilliant.
mate.